Hi there, it's Kyle here from Maple and Honey. Thank you so much for choosing our agency to help with your website. I'm really excited to go through your content plan and outline exactly how this document is going to be central in our project. So hopefully by now you would have been sent through our our content planner. This document details the structure of your website and outlines all the content that you want us to design into your brand new website. So it's very important that we have the content planner filled out and completed at your soonest convenience. Today's video is just to outline exactly how this document can be used and the process that's involved. So essentially at the beginning of the project, this should be added into your project folder. We will fill out as much as we can to help and obviously get this going in terms of the site name and obviously any of the content that's here. What we need to focus on together is we're looking at a few different things. The first thing is we want to outline why this content is going to help effectively do the goal that you want it to. I know it sounds convoluted, but essentially, who are we writing for? What's the purpose of the content in your website? And what questions do you need to answer that your visitors and your audience are coming to your website to find? So this could be things like commonly asked questions, or the services that you provide, or how to book an appointment with you, or whatever it is. The questions that you need to think through about what the content is answering that is going to help us in terms of mapping out your content correctly and structuring it in a way that's going to be a good user experience and help with the overall objective. So the first steps for us to run through is to answer these three questions. If you can do that, that would be great. So essentially, I try to run through this whole document in the kickoff meeting anyways, so that I can help you brainstorm and kind of go through it. So you have somebody to bounce ideas off of, and I'll give you my, straightforward opinion based on experience and obviously, building hundreds and hundreds of websites. So essentially, that's the first point to start from. Keyword research is a fancy word for basically what are the main things that people will be searching for. Keywords are essentially search phrases on Google, key products, key services, your name, your location, these types of things. So if you are a digital agency like we are, your main keyword is probably going to be digital agency, just to give you an example. From there, essentially, second term might be Facebook advertising. It might be web design. It might be Google ads. It might be SEO. It might be landing pages, whatever it is. These are the kind of terms that you should include in your keyword research. And I will make sure that we do the same as well. So we have an internal search term and the volume to indicate and show you what people are searching for in your industry. And this is something that we will do for you guys at the very beginning of the project, just to outline, hey, here's what people are searching. You should incorporate this into your keyword strategy. This is important not only for now in terms of building your website, but also for your blogging strategy. Because if you know what people are searching, you can write effective content to help get in front of those Google searches. So for us, for example, one of our top performing blog posts, which gets us thousands of clicks per month, is a simple blog article I wrote in 2017 about how to find your Facebook ad ID number. It's a simple article, but it is getting us thousands of free visitors every month. So it's very important that you look at exactly what you want to target and do it from day one. So that's where this comes into. Scrolling down, the next section that we need to work on in the website content planner is the sitemap. So sitemap planning is important because this dictates what pages you want in your website and which ones you want in your menu, which ones you want to have just in general. And it's a good thought exercise to make sure that you're not missing anything. So this is something that we'll go through again in our kickoff meeting, because this is something I find a lot of fun, just discussing and kind of giving you the general information. What I've done is I've asked for any pages that you want in your menu to be featured in bold. So in your main menu, as you know, at the top of your website, you're going to have a whole bunch of pages there, or you might have a menu icon, which we call a hamburger. So that's the 3 lines that you have there for your menu. If you click on that, what do you want your visitors to see? What pages do you want to have in your menu? So anything in bold, I've put in a common sitemap that we find we use a lot. So generally, you'll have a home page. nowadays you do need to have a privacy policy if you're collecting any information from visitors to your website. And we have a free generator that I can refer you to as well. Terms and conditions or terms of service is important if you're offering any service online. And then a refund policy if you're selling products. All three can be generated for free. But it's always important to make sure that you're running through that with a lawyer or a legal professional. The next page is about, that's pretty obvious. We talk about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Services, this could be a product or a services page, but essentially it's what is your main offering? And do you want to have, multiple services? So again, for us, if we're looking back at the keywords here, we're a digital agency. We offer all of these services. So our services might be, and on our website, this is exactly how it looks. We have a services tab. And then underneath that, we have a submenu where it talks about Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, web design, web management, anything else that we offer. So all of that you can see is in bold because I wanted to have in the main menu services and then having a hover over submenu where it will show me those options if I hover over services. Then we have a news page, which is obviously your blog. So if you see anything that's a sub page like this, essentially that just means that it lives underneath that parent page. Anything that's a parent page essentially just means that it is the top of your sitemap, and these things fit underneath it. So a good example is, news page will be your blog page, and then you'll have blog articles that reside underneath that. Same goes with your shop. So your shop, if you're selling products or services or memberships or anything that requires charging online, essentially you're going to have a categories page, and then underneath that a product page. So for us, I keep using us as an example because we're obviously the best one to refer to. But essentially you'd have Facebook ads, and then the product page might be Facebook ads beginner, basic, starter, advanced, whatever. So you'll have options in that category. Lastly, FAQ. Now we highly recommend having an FAQ page because voice search is becoming more and more prevalent. And what Google's looking for is long form questions that would be in a spoken manner to be able to kind of understand and index your website to place you in front of those searches. So FAQ pages are now kind of, what's the right word? A recommended practice or a recommended page to have based on that. And, think about it from a perspective of not necessarily what are the most frequent questions you're being asked, but what are the most frequent things being searched maybe, and try to answer those. So just to give you a perspective, for us, it would be, maybe not how to find your Facebook account ID, but what is a digital agency? People are probably going to be searching that when they're looking for marketing. They might be like, I don't know what a digital agency is. Well, we've got to explain that. And then that's hopefully going to help us rank a little bit higher on Google. So I hope that answers, or at least gives you an insight as to why FAQs can be very valuable for your SEO strategy. Last thing is a contact page. It's a contact form, social media, whatever else that you want people to reach out to you on. So that, I guess, kind of wraps up what a sitemap is and how we use that. Once you have a sitemap, this is where the fun part comes in. And obviously this does take a bit more time. So the sitemap you can probably do in half an hour if you're confident in terms of how you wanted to structure it, and I'll try to help you with that. Once you've got a sitemap, we need to create each content page. So this is where either we can help you with it, and most projects we do ask our clients to provide the content. If you don't feel confident writing content, we can quote you for content writing. It's something that we do offer, but I find that most clients are more than confident in doing this themselves. If they're time poor, then obviously we can step in and quote that in the project right as well. So if you've ticked that you want us to do all this for you, then you're probably not watching this video, let's be real. But you might be, so just offering it anyways. So what we need here, and this is confusing, probably the most confusing part of our template, is all of this information for your page. So the first thing is a headline or a page title, which is kind of obvious, right? I've included in CoSchedule's headline analyzer to help you write better headlines. So you can click on this and it will take you to a new tab to kind of like put in what you think would be good, and then it will spit out some ideas or suggestions. Page URL you don't need to worry about, but essentially if you have, let's say, a contact us page and you want the title to be contact, I'll just delete that for now. So contact us, for example. Well, then you could choose, I don't want it to be contact-us, I just want it to be contact, right? So you can just do the URL like that. So what you need to do is just put in the tail end of that URL, just from, / whatever you want the page URL to be. I hope that makes sense. So you don't have to put this in. We'll just use this if you don't put anything in there. But if you want it to be different and you want it to be shorter or whatever, you want to put it in there so that I know. All right, so title tag is kind of like a catchphrase for this. So send us a message or reach out to, let's say, contact Brisbane's top digital agency today. Something like that, you know? You can put in a tagline, and then a meta description is essentially the description of the page that you see pop up in Facebook if somebody shares the page, or in Google search. It'll have a little summary there. The meta description is used for SEO primarily, and also for sharing purposes. So it's important to have a short, succinct description of each page that we can use in your website. So again, it might be contact Maple and Honey digital agency. And this is a great way. You want to not stack, but you want to put in your keywords here if you can for your Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, or web design needs today. Terrible example, but you get the picture. So you can put in here exactly what you think is relevant to summarize that page. And then what we need is essentially just a breakdown of the different things you want to put into the page. So if you do have sections, what we generally do is we'll have clearly defined sections on each page that you'll be able to go, all right, let's say the section 1 is the image. We just want an image with this image, this text, and a button. So you might be able to say main image banner, use text and button. And then you might put in, the text. So it might be Maple and Honey Digital Agency. Button equals contact us. And link to contact page. Something like that. The more information you provide, the better. But, if you just provide us content, we'll come up with the designs and we'll do the best that we can based off that. So that's essentially how we use this. You put in each section that you want to have in this table. Call to actions. So I'll actually write this as call to actions. So CTAs are industry term for call to actions. Call to actions are essentially what do you want people to do on that page? So what's the call to action? For us, it might be contact us, book now, book an appointment, and then having the link there as well. So I'll put in book now or book appointment and put in the link for us for people to be able to book on the website straight into our calendar. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. So call to actions, you can put in multiple if you want. I like to have a call to action at the top, call to action at the very bottom, and then that way people who are at the very top, if they don't scroll down at all, they've got something clear to do. And at the very bottom, if people do scroll through all the way, then they, again, have something clear that we are calling them to do. Images, so you can share Dropbox or, we should be using Google Drive. That's what we set up for all projects. So you can just basically name the images here if you like. So you can say, image 253, use image 153.jpg. I highly recommend naming your images, by the way, because they are used in SEO as well. So stuff like this, we end up renaming, which just is just a lot of time, really. So use, let's say, digital agency JPEG, maple logo.jpg, whatever. So you can name your images for us, or just have a reference point. Be like, hey, here's a folder that I've put in the Google Drive, a subfolder that's just for the homepage, and here's the link. You can share that if you like. Videos, we generally ask for you to upload to YouTube first or Vimeo, and then we can embed it. So that's essentially how we fill out the content for a page. And you should be able to see by now how intensive it is, right? It's a website. There's a lot more that goes into it than I think meets the eye. So it's important that you do spend the time to go through it and think about it from a logical perspective. How are you solving the problems for your visitors? What questions do you need to answer? And what action do you want them to take on each page? If you can answer those 3 questions on each page, you've got a great website. I think you've thought through the design, and hopefully you're going to be able to solve a lot of your visitors' problems. So that's how we do it on each page. You have to repeat this exercise going through, but essentially it becomes second nature. You do understand it a bit better. Oh yeah, call to action. I want them to book this. I want them to use that. So I'll skip forward on the pages. I've put them all down. So for our sitemap, each one has its own page. And then scrolling down a little bit more, we do have a product/courses content as well. Now, obviously, this is going to be slightly different. And generally, what we need is to have the product description, product URL, categories, prices, variants. So this does need to change. We're in the process of moving everything over to Google Docs. We were using a CRM that did documents in it. And as much as I loved it, it wasn't as flexible as we needed it to be. So we've gone back to the basics, back to the drawing board, just so that we can have full customization. So Google's great for that. So essentially, what I'll be adding here will be product and course related information. So it'll be things like categories, tags, because in WordPress you do have tags, same as Shopify. You'll have price, so variants, so things like color, sizes, shapes, etc. So variants are useful, I guess. And I guess we have to have variant pricing, and so on and so forth. So essentially, I'll make sure that this is product and course content related, but we basically need you to fill this out for each and every product and category if you want to go that specific. With WordPress and Shopify as well, you can have categories or collections that you have descriptions for and page titles for, and essentially it helps with your SEO. It helps because it's basically a page for that category. So it does pay to go through this and be as specific as you possibly can. Part of our job is to make sure that we're content and making it as SEO friendly as possible. So don't worry if you can't think of a page URL or a meta description or anything like that. We'll come up with that for you. The important part is filling out each and every page and product that you have so that we know the price, we know the name, we know the content that needs to go in there. Once we've done all that, if you want to go a bit extra and you have an idea of what you want in your mind, what we'd ask for you to do is basically just create a sketch or some type of layout. Now, we use a tool called Canva. It's free, essentially online, to create designs very quickly and easily. So even if you're not a designer or digital tools completely confuse you, Canva is probably one of the better ones for quickly and easily coming up with even just a sketch outline. You know what I mean? So if you're like, no, I want the section to be here, I want the menu to be there, and I want a button in the middle. It's a bit easier sometimes to just basically design it and show what you want. If you like, we do offer a thing called, we do mockups as well. So these are called wireframes. Essentially, we can do a wireframe before we even go to creating the website. So we normally don't include that in our projects because we are pretty affordable. But what we do is essentially do a design mock-up of your homepage before we do anything else. So while you're finishing off all the content plan, we will be doing the design work and all the planning with you to make sure that you have a one-page design for you to approve. So if you have a specific idea in mind, Canva's great for it. Otherwise, you can trust us to come up with a good design for you. All right, once you're done and you've created the content plan, what I recommend that you do is make sure that you have collected any feedback from your partners or team members, anybody from within your company that you think should be consulted. It's always a good idea to go through it with them because you'll probably get some good feedback. The next thing is to make sure that your links do work. So if you're linking through to a booking portal or you're linking through to an external site, just make sure that those links work before you send it through. Another good idea is just to make sure that you have spell checked everything. I know that seems obvious, but it's always a good idea to do so. You can do that from within the Google add-ons. So they do have a dictionary in here right there. So you can just do a quick spell check by clicking dictionary and it should go through everything. Or I like Grammarly. Grammarly is an add-on here where you can actually add it to your Chrome browser and it basically goes through and checks everything on your page. So those are two things that we find really good. Do all your images and videos load? So again, just making sure that you have uploaded your content, you have put the video links or the images in the Google Drive, and that we have it ready to go. And then lastly, are any downloadable content, are they the correct ones? So if we're doing PDFs or any digital content that you want us to do, like lead magnets or anything, just making sure that they are the right ones, because we won't know. And it's a shame when you launch a website and we've uploaded the file that you've given us and it's the wrong one. So just a little checklist that we give for our clients. But essentially that's it, guys. So really excited to get your project going. If it's going already, hopefully you're having a great time. If you have any questions and you need any help, obviously me and the team are here to answer everything and anything that you need. So just reach out. I'm always happy to have a chat. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you made it to the end, wow, you're amazing. Really looking forward to getting everything going for you. And yeah, let's get your website up and running. Thanks again. Kyle out.